Hello, thank you for joining us. We're back together again today. Last time our last episode was our fifth installment of our interview with Roger Ritterbeck. Great episode.
He made me sit over there.
If you missed it, definitely go back and check it out. It's really good. But we're going to have more of those coming up in the coming weeks here, so stay tuned for that. Yeah. But in the meantime, you've been super busy out in the field helping all kinds of people understand and implement this new standard. How's that been going?
Yeah, it's been a fascinating experience. Nothing teaches you more about what you don't know than when you actually try to do it.
Don't know. You're supposed to be an expert at this.
Yeah, well, it's easy to be an expert if you don't have to really do anything.
Yes.
So we can talk about it, but
Well, we've always said it's a whole lot harder to create a QMS than it is to audit it, for sure.
Yeah, the auditors have the advantage. I mean, they know what the standard says, and they ask the questions. They don't have to have the answers.
Yeah, they also have the advantage of they get to be in countless organizations and see how everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, and so back to the question of how it's going. It's been a pretty eye-opening experience to do this. We're working with some of the best companies and organizations in the country, and as you start going through this thing, you find things that you didn't know.
Yeah, but examples or?
Yeah, there are statements in the standard that you read right past, and you assume it. You know what they're meaning. For example, we were at Science and Engineering Services, and Mark Whitaker, Keith Edgar, they're probably some of the most knowledgeable people I've ever worked with. And we'll read a line and we'll say, what does that mean? And we never really thought about that particular line before, and we're looking at each other and well, I'm not really sure what it means.
Yeah. So. Context also helps bring some of those nuances out.
Yeah.
It's you were talking before about hidden Mickeys at if you've ever been to Disney World or Disneyland. I thought that was pretty neat. What can you repeat a little bit of that?
Yeah, I'm sure you've all been to Disney World or Disneyland, or if you haven't been, you should be probably. But one of the things they built into the park as something to do is they've hidden Mickey's, the outline of the Mickey Mouse, into flower arrangements, into in the way the buildings are structured and so forth. And one of the things that is kind of interesting to do is walk around and see if you can identify these hidden Mickeys. And if you don't look for them, you never really see them.
Yeah, you'll walk right past this thing 100 times and not realize it's there, and then someone points it out, and it's been in front of you the whole time without noticing.
So what we kind of like to avoid for you guys, as we're finding out ourselves, is you don't want to wait till you didn't identify the hidden Mickey until the auditor asks you, well, what about this? Yeah, what about that? So
just don't claim hidden Mickeys.
Right, yeah. So we're going to talk an example of one of those today, but we're going to be looking at those all the rest of the time. We'll go through the rest of the standard.
All right, so tell us about what hidden nugget, hidden Mickey we're going to be talking about today.
We got a pretty good example for you. I think it was in one of the last episodes we talked about competence and awareness, and we were discussing that, and we looked through that standard.
Just to be clear, you're not getting your segue back out and writing that again.
No, they took it away from me. But what we looked at that requirement in the closet, and we actually read it, and we blew right past the hidden Mickey, although it wasn't probably a Mickey, but I mean it was that method, that type. So what we want to do is let's take a look at it, and what we were talking about was competence and awareness. So let's take a look at that clause again.
All right, we'll bring up, actually all we even need to do is bring up the opening statements of those clauses.
Right.
So here we go. Competence says, 7.2 competence, the organization shall A, determine the necessary competence of persons doing work under its control that affect the performance and effectiveness of the quality management system. Then awareness says, 7.3, the organization shall ensure that persons doing work under the organization's control are aware of.
And that's what we went zip right past it. It's talking about competence and awareness is applicable to persons working under the organization's control.
And that's new.
It is, and it's the kind of thing we find throughout the standard, to where you read it and it doesn't. Wait a minute, and it's one of those wait a minute type things. And when those really will come up to get you is when you're trying to, how do we implement this thing? What does this line mean, and how do we implement it?
Yeah.
So if you're preparing for doing this, which many organizations are, most organizations haven't even started on this yet. You'll think you're ready to go, and then you'll start, because that's what we're doing now. We're starting to do this line by line with organizations, and then suddenly you realize,
hey,
yeah,
new light.
So, right.
So, persons doing work under the organization's control. Now that we have seen this hidden Mickey, what does it mean? How do we apply that?
Well, when you look at people under your control, like for example, we work with a lot of military organizations, and many of them have contract people coming in. And so they are under the organization's control, but contractually, that contractor is supposed to provide training and awareness, but you're responsible for it if you're managing the system. They're under your control.
Yeah, many of those units would tell you that it's up to the contractor to provide training.
Right. So there may be training needs that meet 7.2, 7.3, but the organization is responsible for the effectiveness of that training.
Yeah, and like that might mean a maintenance organization who's contracted to provide production machine maintenance support. That would be included.
If they can affect the product quality, and they're under the organization's control, then they apply this clause applies to them.
That would fall to them. So they might be expected to be made aware of A, the quality policy, B, relevant quality objectives, C, their contribution to the effectiveness of the QMS, including the benefits of improved performance, the implications of not conforming with the QMS requirements, relevant QMS documented information and changes thereto, F, their contribution to product or service conformity, G, the contribution to product safety, H, the importance of ethical behavior.
Right, and so the question for you is, how does this apply to your organization? The standard's loaded with stuff like this. I mean, technically, the people mowing your grass, could they be, they probably don't affect your quality, hopefully, but I mean, this is the kind of thing where you need to look at the standard carefully.
Yes, how do they fall under these clauses, under some of these hidden Mickeys? So
right.
We'll be looking at that kind of thing in quite some detail as we go forward. And
talking about hidden Mickeys in further episodes.
Yes. So in a moment, we will be talking about what is next. Learn all about AS9100 Rev D with our new online course. This is the best resource to rapidly get you caught up on what's changed and what's new. Our course guides you through each part of the standard and teaches you how to implement it within your own organization. Each section is broken into bite-sized pieces, allowing you to work through the standard at your own pace. You can access the course as many times as you want, making this the #1 resource for when you need a quick refresh on a specific topic. Buy it today and get the guidance you need to achieve your Rev D certification.
Well, next time, Mike, I thought it would be interesting to talk about counterfeit parts prevention.
And that is a new requirement, brand new to the standard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brand new to the standard. Many of you have had some measure of counterfeit parts prevention, particularly if you have electronic parts, because that was pretty standard. But as we're going to discuss, this isn't about just electronic parts. This is a requirement everybody has to have, and they cannot say, well, this isn't applicable to us. That's not going to fly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take a hidden Mickey to find that. So.
All right, so it'll be interesting to see how this does apply across the board. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we always invite your feedback, questions, comments, requests from us. We love to hear from you. In fact, you guys, we've been hearing from you, been very encouraging to hear some of your guys' success stories. We're very grateful to hear feedback that this has been helpful, despite his best efforts to prevent that.
We've talked to quite a number of people, and that basically they're kind of saying what Mike said, that they're saying that even though you couple clowns, and particularly me, that still has been useful information. So we're glad of that. But if there's something you'd like us to say, would you just get to this one? Let us know what it is, and we'll try to jump in it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can do that by emailing us. You can contact us on our website. Whatever way works best for you.
Did I mention smoke signals?
We did a long time ago.
Okay.
Leave comment down below on the video here. However you want. We'd love to hear from you.